Welcome back to the show, man. I thought you were going to dance for me. Greg Wolf, the Sarge, Nick Hines here. Of course, we're a couple days away from the Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships. We need all the help we can get.
We certainly do, and no better than having someone that has the inside scoop, be able to watch those horses in the AM.
Yes, and that would be someone who our TVG viewers would probably know that we've had on the past here quite a bit. Clocker here in Southern California. Donald Harris, who has eyes on all the horses who are getting ready to run over championship weekend. Donald, thanks for coming on. It's been quite a while since we've talked to you, but certainly want to get your insights on the big weekend coming up. How you been?
Been great. I'm happy to confuse the listeners even more with all the opinions out there, right?
No, we need you to narrow things down for us. So I guess let's start with the big race, the Classic, and I guess you have a bit of a shocker for us in here.
Well, when it comes to Hollywood Workers, there's no horse that has worked bigger than Noös. I think Hollendorfer has this horse primed to run his biggest race by far. His last two drills have been flat out phenomenal. I mean, he's working like a horse possessed. That October 18th drill, he was coming home like he was breezing 3 furlongs in a blowout. I mean, it was absolutely sensational. I wish I had a bigger vocab because I'd throw larger, more intense adjectives. And then he came back October 24th, and that 59-4 bullet, that was a breeze. He was coming out of the skin, galloped out huge. I would say whether or not he can be a horse like Game On Dude is a big question. But Nick, Greg, if you watch that last race, that Austin McGinn race, I think Pedroza lost the race in the first furlong when he let Game On Dude get off the rail. Now, I'm not saying he would have won the race, but I think, that margin would have been a lot less, and then that 20-1 morning line would have been a lot less. So that's the horse that's training great from the Hollywood Workers.
Well, the question I have, obviously, you've seen this horse with regularity at Betfair Hollywood Park, so I kind of get the vibe that from what you're seeing in the mornings that he's peaking as opposed to he's generally always been just a good workhorse. It's interesting that he's going to pick up 6 pounds as well, obviously floating a bit closer to what Game On Dude has as far as weight's concerned, but I can't argue with the price. The price is generous. You're getting 20-1. The fact that the King decided to go here as opposed to Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. But is this horse consistently a good AM activity type animal, or is this the best you've seen him?
No, Nick, that's a great question because, as we know in the Breeders' Cup, we're talking about all athletic, talented horses. Most of them are always going to look pretty good in the mornings. So what we're looking at is the difference at the margin. And, Nick, what you say, peaking, is exactly what I see from Noös. He's always been an athletic, energetic traveler, but there's just this marginal difference of the way he's finishing. You cannot fake a 7-furlong drill. 125-1, when you're finishing like this horse, you can't fake that. You can fake a half mile in 46-2, but you cannot fake a 7-furlong drill. It screams the horse is going to run his best.
All right.
Now, whether you think his best is good enough, in my mind, if you get 20-1 on a horse that's peaking, sometimes maybe you just take a shot that the horses you think are a little better aren't going to get their trip, and Noös gets a little lucky with the trip. So that would be my argument.
Well, I guess my other question is, knowing that the Breeders' Cup's not at Betfair Hollywood Park, and we're contending over a conventional dirt track, a track that he hasn't won over just yet, I realize that he may be peaking at the right time, but do you think maybe that synthetic strip at Betfair Hollywood Park may have induced the workout, or you just simply think that he's versatile enough to rise to the occasion?
No, it's another good point, but I would just look at his last race over the Santa Anita track.
Gotcha.
That race over the Santa Anita track, I don't think you could look at that race and say he didn't handle it. I don't think the track's playing that much different. So I would say look at that race and says that he can handle it.
What have you heard anything about? I know most of the East Coast horses or even Europeans had put in most of their work elsewhere, not here in Southern California. But have you heard anything about, especially concerning the Classic with the East Coast runners, how they're coming into Saturday?
I wish I had more info there. I'm actually just like a fan. I'm waiting for my partner, Toby Terrell, to call in all his info from Santa Anita. He's probably seen him on track, but I have yet to get that informative call, so I really have nothing to add there.
Well, I think you just gave everyone a whole lot to work with now because you blew up everyone's Classic. If they thought they might have had a single, now they got to revisit that race. Certainly great information on a horse that is going to be a monster price in the premier race of the weekend.
Yeah, all you can ask for is to try and find a horse that Nick says is peaking. And It doesn't guarantee anything, but I think you're always looking at risk. And if you have a horse that's peaking, that risk gets lower and lower. Now you're just hoping you get the right trip.
What do you think? I mean, have you even determined this for yourself yet? What do you think would be fair value for him in the race?
Oh, that's a great question. The way he's training, I have to wager if he's 10-1.
Really? Okay.
10-1 or higher, I'm wagering. Just because as a clocker, all you can do is respond with your gut instinct on how a horse, his body language, his energy, and this horse is doing everything right. So I don't get upset if I bet a horse that's doing everything right and I lose. It doesn't bother me. So I have to wager on this horse if I get 10-1 or higher. And I'm assuming I'm going to.
Yeah, I would think so. 20-1 on the morning line. All right, Donald, we appreciate you coming on. Have a great championship weekend, and thanks for the insight.
Hey, you too, guys. Good luck.
Hoorah.
Donald Harris, we've had him on the show over the years. He always comes with great information, and I think it's a horse a lot of people probably were overlooking.